Well, hello there, party people. What's cracking? Today is Tuesday. It's your girl, Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ. So we are here for NIKKI BANZ Live. What's cracking? Oh my goodness. It is so good to see all of you fantastic, beautiful, smiling, shining beans and beacons of light out there. What an absolute treat. Hello, hello, hello. We're a little bit early today for NIKKI BANZ Live. This is not our regularly scheduled time, but it's because your girl NIKKI BANZ is in Dubai. I am in Dubai right now. I am here for the one and only Nas Summit. So it is super fitting and super appropriate that my guest today is none other than Sabrina Iovino, aka Just One Way Ticket, because she is a Nas Academy creator. So I have to say, it is such an incredible treat to be here, coming to you live from Dubai. This is now the third country that I have hosted NIKKI BANZ Live in. Obviously, NIKKI BANZ Live was founded in South Africa, but I have filmed live shows from Kenya, and now, as of right now, I have officially filmed from the United Arab Emirates. So this is absolutely incredible. Fun fact for all of you out there, you actually can't do live streams in Dubai on Instagram unless you have a VPN. So just letting y'all know, sign up for a VPN if you need to do a live stream. Tell me in the comments, how do y'all feel about my blue hair? Are y'all feeling this? Also, I have some fabulous earrings on right now. Shout out to my girl Cindy, who gave me these earrings. Of course, the regular bling, you all are very used to this. But look at the blue hair. I had to come correct, you know? I'm out here in Dubai. I was like, I had to come out correct for this. So yes, I am here in Dubai with my blue hair and my fabulous self. So here we go. Shout out to everybody. I feel like some of my colleagues at Nas Academy are signing on right now. I just came from the Expo, the World Expo 2020. Oh my gosh, it was so incredible. Of course, you know, I had to go see South Africa. Where else did I see? I went into Kenya. I went into, where else? Peru. Oh my gosh, Peru. Oh, an incredible pavilion. Anyway, y'all are not here to hear about me, even though I know y'all love NIKKI BANZ. Thank you. I love y'all. To the joy seat. You love the hair? You like the styling? Okay. Okay. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, and my friend Sarah, Sarah, was at the expo with me. She's saying that Iran was fabulous. Yes, it was. Iran was an incredible booth. Got some little goodies there. The closest I'll ever get to Iran, because with the U.S. passport, I can't go right now. Let's not get political on NIKKI BANZ Live. All right, party people, I have an amazing international travel blogger here for you all. I am so excited to be introducing you to Just One Way Ticket. Her blog, her travel blog of her going around the world gets over 100,000 hits per month. She's been featured in Forbes and Al Jazeera and Cosmo and Lonely Planet, and she is here with you live today on NIKKI BANZ Live. I am so excited, and I don't want to take up any more time so we can dedicate the entire hour to this incredible human. So, party people, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We're about to go live. I'm going to bring her on right now, Sabrina Iovino, aka Just One Way Ticket, here on NIKKI BANZ Live. Let's bring her on. Now is the moment. On the show. Where's my drum roll?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I'm not sure why oh wait, I have to I have to turn the camera around. Okay, I have to say I'm Nicole. This is my first Instagram live, by the way.
Oh, I'm so blessed that your first ever IG Live, you're coming on with me. Thank you, Sabrina.
Okay, let me just check this out. Okay.
Oh, can you hear okay? Can you see okay? Is everything working?
Yeah, everything is working.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Look at your earrings. I wasn't the only one that came with great earrings. Yours look great.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually just cut my hair yesterday, and I felt like it's so short, so I need something to dangle here. That's why I got some earrings today. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, you look fabulous as always, Sabrina. And one of the things that I like to do when I start my live show every Tuesday is I like to tell people how I know the guests who are on my show. And so we have Yes, we have a really cool connection because we are working together at Nas Academy. You teach this incredible course on blogging. It's a free
Yeah.
workshop at Nas Academy, an hour long, and I support you as your facilitator. So that's how we first got in touch. And now here we are on an IG Live.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. So cool. Well, I will have lots of questions for the show for you coming up very soon. But I think the big question on everyone's mind is, you're a travel blogger. So where in the world are you right now at this moment, and how long have you been there?
I'm in Bali actually. I'm for a long time in Bali already. It's been almost 2 years, which is crazy thanks to COVID. Like a lot of people get stuck. So I'm in my apartment here in Bali. I was living before in Singapore, and just right before COVID started, I came here and kind of got stuck here. And it's been like almost 2 years, and I actually started liking it. It's yeah, I think Bali is home for me now. But honestly, like I can't wait to travel. Like everything is opening up now. Bali just announced last week they have visa on arrivals again. So everybody come to Bali, and myself, I can't wait to travel again. And yeah, it's been a long time.
Wow, that's amazing. I've been to Bali once, but it was many, many years ago, and I don't remember too much about it. So what are some of your favorite places to go in Bali, or some of your favorite little shops or spots since you've been there for so long?
But I mean, I think what I like most about Bali is the food. It's absolutely food heaven, especially if you're like a fuzzy eater like me. Like I don't eat meat, I don't eat seafood. I'm one of those pain in the ass vegans. So the food is absolutely amazing here. And then obviously anybody who's interested in yoga, surfing, there's so many opportunities. And just the whole scenery, it's very green, it's very lush. I live very close by the beach, so I came like just before I went on the call, like 2 hours ago. I was on the beach. I tried to go every day to sunset on the beach. And it's just a beautiful place to hang out for a longer time. Also, like to meet other digital nomads, to meet other bloggers, content creators. There's a lot of them here in Bali. And yeah, I recommend everyone to come and visit me. Bali's open now.
Woo! I love that. I love that. I think so many of us are so grateful that the world is opening, that travel is opening. I mean, even just now here in Dubai, I was at the World Expo, and only half the people were wearing masks. People are just like, we're kind of open to not wear masks out in public anymore. And it's kind of like, okay, it's like some sense of normalcy, whatever normalcy even means in this day and age anymore. But I
Yes,
love
it's
that you
same
mentioned
here.
that there's,
So
yeah,
same
same
here.
there,
Everybody
same
still
there.
has to wear mask. I mean, here still everyone has to wear masks, but I think we all can't wait to just drop it and feel free again.
Oh, exactly. And I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that in Bali, there's lots of other, travel bloggers and digital nomads. So talk to us a little bit more about how you got into being a travel blogger and a digital nomad. Is it something that you were always doing for your whole life? Were you in another industry and then you pivoted? Talk to us about how you got started.
To be honest, when I started, I think this word digital nomad it didn't even exist. I started blogging more than 10 years ago, so I went from like originally I was a graphic and screen designer, which helped me a bit like when I started blogging because I knew like how to build blogs, I knew a bit of design and interfaces and stuff. Um, but I got into it first. I traveled. I left my job in 2008, and I was traveling around the world for 1.5 years. And after these 1.5 years of travel, I was like kind of like the travel expert for all my friends. They would always ask me for advice when they wanted to like go to some places, and I helped them to make itineraries and everything. And that's how in the end I started eventually blogging because I thought, oh, if I can help my friends, I can help actually a lot more people. So that's how I started writing down my travel experiences, and that was 10 years ago. In 2012, I started blogging before like the word digital nomad even existed. I would just like write about my experiences. And at that time, I didn't even know like, hey, how can I make money with the blog? It was just like, okay, this is an outlet where I can share my pictures, my stories, um, and help people. And then when the blog started to be like make money, or when it was like picked up by other media, it started to make money. I was like, oh my God, this is actually turning into a business and I can live from it. So And yeah, before I even knew it, I was one of those digital nomads, but it was never like the goal to be one of them or something. I don't like the word to call myself a digital nomad. I find it a bit, yeah. I feel like it's already like we're at the time where like people don't like to call us digital nomads anymore. And you asked me before, like you said before, like Bali is also full of bloggers. Like what also Bali is full of life coaches and people who are into crypto. So it's an interesting mix. But somehow everybody makes a living online. So I guess there's still lots of opportunities.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that this, it seems to like happen quite organically for you. You're just sharing travel advice and travel tips with your friends and family from your own experiences. And then other people are asking, and now all of a sudden it's a business and you have the top 50 travel blog in the world. That's a really cool transition.
Thank you. But and I think now not anymore because like COVID changed a lot of things. And obviously in the last 2 years, there was not much to blog. But I mean, I still do the blog. I'm still living off the blog. And now slowly I can see things are picking up again. So I hope 2022 will be better than the last 2 years. So I'm still looking optimistic towards the future with travel blogging.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, that's good. That's good. And I want to ask you about the future of blogging in just a moment, but I think it'd be helpful, like, because I think, in this time and age where we've got video content, we've got blogging, like when you say you are a travel blogger, is that, is it written content? Is it picture content? And I know you have Instagram pages and YouTube pages now. So talk to us about like each of the different platforms or each of the different types of content that you produce, because it's quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the first thing I did, I started just writing about my travel experience, accompanied by photos. That was the first thing in 2012. There was not even Instagram when I started back then. And then Instagram became popular, I think, in 2013, 14, Instagram grew, so I started with it. But back then, it was still just like a photo platform with those filters and frames, you probably remember. And then slowly in 2014, I shifted towards like to make videos. There was also the time I was became part of the GoPro family. They gave me a GoPro, so that was the first time I had actually a camera to shoot content. And then shortly after, I got a drone. And then I focused more on video. But I must still say it's not my passion. Like I find editing videos is such a comprehensive job. It's like I started hiring people to do the video stuff because I still realized I'm more a writer, and also like I'm not an entertainer. I don't like to be in front of the camera. I don't like to talk or engage. I just want to write. And so I was just focusing on what I can do the best, and the rest I would just outsource. So my heart was always more into writing, and the other one I tried a bit, but it was not my main thing. Of course, I have a YouTube, and I also do occasionally like videos on Instagram. I do Instagram reels. I'm not on TikTok. I'm definitely more into writing and photos. I have Pinterest as well, which is also very photo heavy. Yeah.
Well, I know you just mentioned that you typically don't like to be in front of the camera, so I'm so grateful that you're here on this live in front of the camera, speaking to all the people tuning into this live and all the people who will watch it on YouTube. But so far so great. I think you're fantastic. As someone who works with you on camera, you're great on camera. You're very concise. You give great information. I like seeing you on camera.
Believe it or not, but if you would go through my Instagram stories, I have never, ever done a video where, like, pointed at me where I talked to the camera. Not even once in my life I've done that. I don't know, it's for me still, like, such a weird concept. I always wanted to show what's around me, and I always felt like weird. I had some video jobs where they wanted me to talk, so what I did in the end, I just did voiceovers, but I never talked directly to the camera, because, I don't know, it was just, like, something that never came naturally to me. And I only do the podcast because I know otherwise usually when I get these requests with camera, I'm always like, no. I'm very, believe it or not, but I'm very shy. Camera shy especially.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love that you're breaking out of that shy shell today. And because, I think this information that you have to share and everything you're telling us about travel blogging and your lifestyle is so important, especially now as the world is reopening. So people really want to know, like, okay, how do I make money off of a travel blogger? How do I, travel the world and go to all these places? And those are some of the things that you talk about kind of in your course at Nas Academy. So let's pivot to that. You have this
Yeah.
incredible course at Nas Academy, but you actually met, I think you met Nasir and Aline like well before you had this course. So how did you meet Nasir, aka Nas Bailey, and Aline? What's the relationship between you and them?
I met Nasir, I think at least 5 years ago, I would say, around 2016 or 17. I met him in Bangkok. He was basically my couch surfer. He stayed, I think, a week at my place, and we did some awesome videos in Bangkok. We did one at my condo. I think he was talking about money in that video, and he did that epic shot where he flew the drone out of my apartment, like through the apartment, out of the balcony, and I was living on the like 19 or 20 floor, and back then I already noticed, like, oh my God, like, Nasir is like probably the most hardest working person I've ever met. He was like, I was all the time like, let's go and chill by the pool, and he was always like, video, like making content. And I think we went to the airplane graveyard in Bangkok. I don't know if you heard of it. It's like a place where they put like old abandoned airplanes. It's a pretty cool place. So he also made a video about that. And so that's kind of how I got to know him the first time when I hosted him in Bangkok. And then later on, I lived in Singapore for 2 years. And he happened to move to Singapore with Aline. So I met Aline maybe 1 or 2 years later when they moved together to Aline. And then we got to hang out quite a few times. They hosted me also at their place whenever I had no place to stay in Singapore. I would just crash their place. And I do consider them as friends. And also with Aline, we did retreats in Bali 2 years before COVID came. We ran to offer the Aline retreats, also retreat for content creators. So, yeah, I talk with them regularly. So I consider them
Okay.
They're amazing. They're very, very, very hardworking people. Notice me, I'm more lazy.
Well, clearly you surround yourself with great people, and that leads to all sorts of different opportunities, no matter how hardworking they are or not. And that's led that relationship that you have with them, has led to this incredible course that you have at Nas Academy. So talk to us about this workshop that you host. What is it? What is it about? And why should people come sign up and hang out with you for an hour?
So I think the next workshop is, I hope I'm right now, on the 26th.
I think so. I'm like, should I check the calendar?
I think so. We'll check it again later. Anyway, I will also post it on my Instagram story. So the workshop is about blogging, of course. I talk about how I started blogging 10 years ago, how I got into blogging. We talk about like how to create viral content, how to get like really catchy articles out. We talk about how to monetize blogs, how to make money. And also how to attract sponsorships, how to get to work with brands and get maybe sponsored by awesome products like DJI or like GoPro or maybe airlines. Stuff like this. So it's like a beginner-friendly course, and I also talk about how to start when you have like no followers, because I started at that point too. And yeah, if you're free, if you haven't seen my workshop yet, or if you haven't attended yet, join me next week, Saturday. I think the same time as now, 9 p.m. Singapore time. Yeah, looking forward. And Nicole will be there too.
Exciting. Yes, we'll both be there live, just like now. But I think, one of the things that I really like about your course and being your facilitator, Sabrina, is that, you are so willing and happy to share all of your knowledge and experiences. You drop links not only to your own social pages and your blog to show people how it's done, but you drop links to other websites and other resources that people can use to enhance their blog content and start to think about how they want to partner with brands. And you're so forthcoming with that information. And sometimes I find that, people who are influencers or content creators, they don't always want to just share that information, but you're really open to that. And is that like, is that something that comes like very naturally to you? Or are you the type of person who just like shares information, and you're happy to do it? I think yes, but I'd love to hear like in your own words. Like, I think that's kind of the nature of being a blogger. You are sharing your information, and then you get paid for that.
Too much. It's just like I probably just talk too much. And I love to help people, and I love to connect people, and especially good people. If I see like someone has potential, or I can like. Like I like to match friends when I think like, oh, they would get along and stuff. Like, I love to connect people and help people. It's definitely, something also I wanted to do with the blog, like to inspire people, not only like to travel, also to inspire people to do their own, to like, to start their own business, through writing about something that they're passionate about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see that and I feel that. And we're all grateful for it. You know, we're all so grateful that because of this information that you're sharing, we now know where to go, you know, in all of these fabulous countries. So talk to us a little bit about some of your favorite destinations, some of the favorite places that you visited, whether it's certain cities or certain countries. What are some of the most memorable moments for you?
Oh, okay. I mean, honestly, there's not even one place which I would say I didn't like, but there's like so many places that I absolutely loved. I think one that was really memorable for me is definitely India. Um, India was like time travel, you know, and I mean like into the past. Like in India, you see things you just have never seen before. And one funny story I always like to tell, when I was like back then I was backpacking in India, and back then I was just couch surfing. I was like, really, when I was traveling, I was like, this more than 10 years ago, traveling as cheap as possible. I was couch surfing in India. I arrived at 2 in the morning in Delhi, and got into my taxi, drove to my host. And one thing I remember was that he was telling me, yeah, he's living on the second floor. And because it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, or by that time already 3 or 4, he said, I will just put the key in the mailbox, and you can, you just take the key and come in and can lay down and sleep. So, and it was India, so everything looked different. First of all, like the streets, they had no road names and nothing. And the driver, he just dropped me off somewhere in the middle, and he said, is here, this house. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, there's no number, there's nothing. And he was like, is here, get out. And I was like, I looked outside, and the first thing also I noticed in India is like the amount of homeless people. They were like everywhere, people on the street. And I was just grabbing my bag, going to the house entrance, and I was just like, oh my God. So I walk up to the second floor, and I open that mailbox, and there's no key inside. And I was just like, what do I do now? Because I knew there's no way I want to go out because there were so many homeless people. And I was just like thinking, still like jet lagged, and so I was like, oh, he maybe forgot. So I just knocked at the door, and like a teenage boy opened the door, and and I was like, oh, hey, I'm tired. Can I sleep? And he was like, okay, okay, come in, come in. And I just went in. I crashed on the couch. And the thing is, I remember my host, he was somehow in his like 40s or something. So I was like, I'm sure that's his son or something. So I just slept. And the next morning I woke up, and that little boy, he came and he brought me some dal and like bread. And I was like, where's your dad? And he was like, what, who? What? I just live with my mom. I was like, no, your dad. And then I said the name. And then he was like, oh, this guy. Oh, he lived one floor below.
Oh, oh,
So I couch
oh
surfed
my
at the
God.
wrong place because, in Germany, it's like ground floor, first floor, second floor. While in the rest of the world, it's like the ground floor is the first floor and the second, yeah. So I was at the wrong floor, and I stayed with complete strangers. But what I wanted to say about memorable is like how welcoming people were. Like, these were complete strangers. So
Yes.
I knocked at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they're like, come in, just sleep there.
Come in. Yeah. That's very kind. That's so kind. Oh my God. That's why they call it Incredible India.
And like, yeah, I mean, like, one of the lessons really from traveling is like there's good people everywhere. And you asked me before, back to your questions, to like favorite countries or places. Like the other extreme towards like to India, it was for me like Japan, because that also was time travel, but completely the other direction. Because like everything seemed like so futuristic and like so weird and so cyber, which I also really enjoyed. But honestly, there's so many great places. I can almost have a positive memory about every country I visited. But these two definitely very much stick out.
Ooh, ooh, that's so cool, Sabrina. And I just feel like I travel in the same way that you do. Like, it's very hard for me to have a bad experience somewhere. Like I can find the beauty and the magic of any cross-cultural immersion anywhere in the world. I truly feel that way. You know, that's why when people ask me like, what's been some of your favorite places? I'm like, I don't know, all of them.
Yeah, and it changes all the time. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, well, you mentioned like, Japan and India, and I know you've been in the Philippines. You're in Bali now. It seems like a lot of your travel is around the Asian continent. Have you ever
Yeah.
visited the African continent? Have you ever been to? Since I live in South Africa, have you been to my neck of the woods before?
I have been to South Africa. I spent a good amount on 1 month I spent in Cape Town. And then I was
Really?
also, I did the whole safari. I went up to, I don't remember it now, what the name was of the town, but it was like a couple hours ride. It's not even a flight. I did all the safari in South Africa, and then also I went to Kruger Park. And a couple of years ago, that was actually one of my favorite partnerships with Brett. It was with Qatar Airways, so they invited a bunch of influencers to fly on the inaugural flight to Namibia. So I
Oh,
spent, yeah, that was amazing. Like I always wanted to go to Namibia ever since I've seen these pictures of these like orange desert and like the wildlife there. So Namibia was also very fascinating. But I still like still want to go back to Africa, like because I like safaris and wildlife. I want to see more. I want to go to Botswana and Tanzania and Kenya and lots of other places still to discover. So you're from South Africa.
I'm from the United States originally, but I live in South Africa normally.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Cape Town. Still a place I would consider to go and live there for a while. Amazing city.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you're welcome to come visit me in Cape Town anytime. Not this week because
Oh,
I'm
you're
in
in Cape
Dubai,
Town.
but any other
Good
time.
to know. Good to know.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So normally, yes, normally when I'm working with you, when I'm facilitating with you, I'm coming to you from Cape Town normally.
Oh, okay, okay, I see. Great.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned just now that you had this like on your opportunity to travel to Namibia. You had this awesome collaboration with Qatar Airways, and you were able to fly here. And you've had some really, really cool brand sponsorships and partnerships and collaborations. Talk to us about some of these different brands and companies that you've worked with.
Yeah, I think the most like the ones I'm the most proud of is like for me personally I think is DJI because when I got sponsored by DJI, that's the drone company. Um, back then it was in 2016. Back then it was so hard to get sponsored by DJI. I think back then there were only people like Casey Neistat was sponsored at that time, and I worked so hard to get them as my sponsor. I remember I walked up at their stall in Berlin. They were exhibiting at, I think it was IFA or something. It was one of the conferences where all the electronic stuff, camera stuff exhibited. So I just walked up to their stall and said, "Hey, I'm a travel blogger, blah blah blah, and I'm going to the Philippines for like 2 months. I would love to have a drone." And they just ignored me. They gave me a business card, at least to the marketing person, which was in Hong Kong. So I kept emailing that person back and forth, and first they offered me I think 10% on a drone, but that wasn't good enough for me. So, so I tried harder. This is also like persistence might work out. So at that time, I was lucky. So I had a sponsorship already in the back by an airline in the Philippines, which was back then Cebu Pacific. They offered to fly me across the Philippines and just like cover different destinations. So I was like, okay, now I have that airline, and that airline has a couple million followers. So then again, I emailed DJI and I said, hey, listen, now I have an airline in my back. If you're going to give me a drone and I'll make videos, it's very likely that the airline will share it too. And that's when like things started to keep rolling. And then they said like, okay, if you make a video and that gets 1 million hits, then we're gonna give you a drone, which put a lot of pressure on me. Of course, like I was actually so scared to crash the drone. Um, but yeah, long story short, I think back then with my ex, we spent I think 2 or 3 months in the Philippines. We traveled all across. We did amazing footages. We didn't crash the drone, and the airline shared it, and we got 6 million hits on that video. So ever since, like, I was good with them, they sent me more drones after. They sent me the Osmo, and it was just great to have such a partner like that supports you, that shares also your content. Obviously, when DJI shared our video, we would also get like immediately like lots of new followers, and also it helped like to open doors to other sponsorships. And yeah, and it was fun times. It was really fun shooting drone videos.
Wow, 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 wow. That's so incredible. And I think, to be able to have a drone, make that video content and be able to complement, your tremendous writing and blogging abilities with the video content, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's like a setup for success as we move forward into this world where people are still doing Google searches and they also are still looking at blogs, but they're also looking at videos. The rise of
Of
video
course, of
creation
course, yeah.
it's just totally exploded. You know, you look at YouTube, you look at
True, yeah.
Instagram Reels, you look at TikTok. You know, video
Yeah.
seems to be the wave of the future. So in terms of you, you know, as a blogger, as someone who likes to write, and even me, I love writing. You know, I have my own little blog on Medium. You know, like what do you think for you, in your eyes, what is the future of blogging and written content when it, you know, when it comes up against all the video content that's coming out these days?
Yeah, no, I get that question all the time. Like, I mean, honestly, first of all, I don't see like blogging directly in competition with like videos. It is because you can blog about or do videos about the same thing. But for example, like I'm a person, I rather read a book than watching TikTok videos. So firstly, it comes on down to the preference of the users. But I would still say, of course, like videos are successful more than ever. But there's one thing which I still think is like a big advantage of blogging is like whatever you write on your website is searchable on Google. Like I get traffic on blog posts that I wrote like 5 or 10 years ago versus like a video that I uploaded on Instagram 5 years ago. That gets no engagement anymore, no more views, nothing. Because simply you can't find it on Google search. So content will always be searchable, and people will not stop using Google anytime soon. So, and I think as long as people use Google to search, and most of the time you end up on a blog or a website, there's still a future for blogging and writing.
You're absolutely correct, Sabrina. And I think that's such a good way of looking at it. Like, as long as Google is around, people are still going to be searching.
Yeah.
And even for me, you know, I'm coming to Dubai. I'm like, it's Iranian New Year's this weekend. My mother is from Iran. And what's the first thing I do? I'm like, Iranian restaurants in Dubai. And I go search it. And I look on Google. You know what I mean? And like,
and what do you find? A blog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I actually didn't find a blog about it, which I was like, I see a little gap in the market there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, top 10 Persian restaurants in Dubai. There's it. Like a blog post and a video about it.
Right. So I'll tackle like the young market who's only watching TikTok videos and Instagram Reels, and then I'll capture everybody else who's Google searching.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be ideal. But honestly, like that's more than a full-time job. You literally need a team, like one for the writing, one creates the video, one creates a long video for YouTube, the other one makes the quick version on like TikTok and for Instagram Reels. It is crazy. I mean, honestly, content creation is a full-time job.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And even just now, you know, people were asking me about this live show. They were like, okay, so you go live for an hour, and then what happens after that? Do you make like little Instagram Reels or videos about your guests? Take quotes? And I was like, honestly, if I could, I would. I don't have any time to go back and watch and take out 15 seconds here, 30 seconds here. I was like, I wish I could do that, but I need a team. You're right. Content creation needs a team.
Yeah, I was impressed with like all the flyers and everything you posted already today. I was like, wow, she did all of this. That's like a couple hours work.
I know. I was just like, with my live show here with NIKKI BANZ Live, I was like, you know what? I'll do my own marketing, advertising, recruitment of my guests, coming up with questions. I'll keep doing that until I have a team that wants to do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end goal. That's the plan for sure. Well, Sabrina, I want to pivot a little bit, and I want to ask you about, you know, you travel to all these incredible places. You have blog content. You have your website. You know, you've got all these different ways that you share information. And what is it like for you as a woman traveling to all these places? Because I think, you know, myself and a lot of friends, we have a lot of questions around, okay, we want to travel, we want to make content, but sometimes we don't always have a friend or someone who can afford to go with us or someone who wants to go with us. So when you travel, what is it like for you being a woman? Do you travel alone? Do you not travel alone? Or maybe in the beginning, what was it like? Tell us about your experience as a female travel blogger.
I think most of the time I travel alone. When I back then quit my job in 2008, I was traveling around the world, and I would do this all by myself. And it was like something that I always wanted to do, to travel the world alone. And I made so many friends on the way, so there's nothing you have to worry about. Like I would never I know so many people, they're like, oh, I want to do that trip with my friend, but then she canceled, so I didn't go. And I'm always like, why? Like, do not rely on other people, especially when it comes to traveling. Don't expect your friend, you know, to like do the stuff for you. Like just go alone, and you will have probably even more fun. That's the thing, when you travel alone, you're so much more open to make new connections versus when you already travel with your best friend or with your partner. And I think it's so empowering, and you learn so much about yourself. And I remember, like, especially when I was backpacking around the world, in total, I went to like about 70 countries, something like this, 72 countries. And every time I would land in a new country, you know, and you're at the airport on that like automatic, how you call it, not escalator, how's the one on the ground? And you know, you listen to your music, and you just like arrived in a new country, and you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know who you're gonna meet tonight or tomorrow. You don't know where you're gonna stay, which place, which hotel. And I find it so exciting. It's like probably the biggest adventure you can ever take. And I would always say to every woman, if you have a chance, go travel alone. It's the best what you can do for your personal development. And if you're scared to get out there, I mean, you don't need to start like with like remote places. Go to places that have lots of travelers. I started backpacking in Southeast Asia, which is actually, no, it's not true. I started backpacking in Mexico. But if someone is scared, for total beginners, I would say go to Southeast Asia. I started in Thailand, Malaysia, went down to Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, and it's like so easy to meet other people there on the way. You meet people on planes, you meet people on buses, you meet people in your hostel. With some of them, I got stuck, and then we ended up traveling 2 months together. I met a girl in Thailand, and then I ran into her again in Australia, and then later on I met her in Chile, in the desert. Like, it's also so funny how all these backpackers kind of like do the same route, and you keep running into them like on different continents. And I'm still like, no, this is like more than 10 years ago when I backpacked around the world, and with so many people, I'm like still in touch. And I saw also here the people who joined, there's people that I met years ago on travels. I keep meeting them every few years, so it's such a great thing. So to anyone, don't be scared to travel. It's honestly one of the best things you can do for yourself. And don't be scared. Like I said earlier, there's good people out there. Like, I was hosted by strangers in India.
Yes, yes. And I think that's such an important reminder, you know. I think traveling opens your heart up, it opens your mind up to the world, to different backgrounds, different religions, different races, different languages, you know, different foods, different dances. You learn so much when you travel to new places. And you can just put yourself out there. And even, you know, the skills that you learn when traveling alone, even those are like impeccable, you know, or incomparable. Like, how do I find transportation? How do I find my place that I'm living? You know, it's kind of like, it's like you have to learn how to think on your feet, how to be flexible, how to be resilient. Like,
how to be on time for flights. Oh, there's one more thing what I wanted to say, because you said like how do you meet people, and like, you know, one thing that honestly changed is like over like it sounds so old, because like when back then when I backpacked, 2008, my God, that's 14 years ago, I had no smartphone, you know, and it was so different. Nowadays it's so easy with all these communities and like Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups, and like there's so many apps that like connect travelers. Like, the only thing back then that existed was couch surfing. Facebook was there, but it was not like today. So, and like I said, I traveled without a smartphone. I would go to Thailand. I would go to an internet cafe. I would write requests on couch surfing. And then you would print out the map, because we didn't have Google Maps, you know? And I didn't even have a laptop. And like sometimes I miss those times, because you were like so open to meet people. And nowadays you see everyone is just looking at their smartphone. So in a way, it's today easier to make connections online, but I feel like making real connections might be more difficult, because people are like not used to like just approach strangers on the road. While back then, like, you would see another traveler and you were like, hey, where are you going, and where are you staying, and stuff like this. And yeah, it's good memories. And I think honestly, with all the technology, like it's so easy to find travel buddies, like Facebook groups. And I think Aline also has a group. What is it, like Girls something international? So you say it wrong. Girls Gone Global, Girls Gone International, something like this.
I don't know what it's called,
like girls travel groups, where you can just find other people to travel with you, or meet other people when you go abroad, or even like find someone to host you. There's this like host a sister or something group on Facebook. It's really, there's no excuse anymore to anyone who said, oh, I don't want to travel alone, I'm scared that I will not find. No, you will meet people 100%. You will meet a lot of people.
I completely agree. And that's like almost one of the only ways that I travel now. It's like, oh, I have a friend in Sudan. Oh, I have a friend in Cyprus. Oh, I have a friend in Kenya, you know, or you have a friend
Yeah.
of a friend who lives somewhere. And then I'm like, okay, let me just call that person. Oh, can I crash on their couch? Like, even tonight here
Yeah.
in Dubai, I'm meeting a woman who I've never met before, but she's of a friend from Sudan. And she was like, oh, just go hang out with my friend. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to go meet this
Yeah.
girl, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just like, that's what traveling does. You just make new friends,
Yeah.
think on your feet, and then you have this global network of people.
Yeah, I mean, travelers have such a sense of like community and connecting people. What you just said, like just friends, like, oh, you can crash with my friends, and you're thinking like, but they don't know me. Yeah, but like, we're
Yeah.
travelers, we know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And even a funny story, you know, for me, from my end, how I even got into Nas Academy in the first place. This fantastic guy, his name is Ross Jennings. He's actually been a guest on my show too. He goes by the First Piper. He's this international bagpipe player trying to play the bagpipes in every country in the world. And
Yeah.
so I knew him because he and another friend were coming to South Africa. They were both like kind of travel vloggers, had big Instagram followings, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna come to South Africa, and oh, we saw that you live there. We just saw you on Instagram. Like, can we crash on your couch?" And I was like, "Okay." Two random men I've never met before ever, and I was like, "Sure,
Uh,
just come." You know, I was like, "It'll all work out. It'll all be fine." And then we stayed in touch over the years. He started working for Nas Academy, and then he was like, "Hey, you should come work for Nas Academy," and here I am. Like
yeah,
a
the world's
random
so small.
stranger. A
Uh,
random stranger I met while traveling got me the job that I have today. See, you just never know where
yeah.
travel will take you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was
Oh,
all this. I was really like huge on couch surfing. Like, I had over 100. I was an ambassador on couch surfing. I hosted more than 50 people. I couch surfed more than 100 places. And in all these, like,
wow.
I never had like a bad, like, I mean, like a bad experience with like, okay, the place was messy or like the bathroom wasn't like, but I'm never like that someone like was like rude or tried to assault me or anything. Never something like that happened, I must say, like in all
Mm,
these years. So that's why I do believe like there's good people out everywhere. And
mm,
yeah. I'm just
yeah.
sad that Couchsurfing does not exist in the way that it used to be. It changed a lot, this platform, unfortunately.
Mm.
Yeah.
That could that could be an interesting new like blog content or new blog opportunity for you, you know, talking about what travel was like for you 10 years ago versus what it's like today,
But
because
then
it
I
has
sound so
changed a
old.
lot.
I feel so old when I like tell people I was traveling without a smartphone or less. I was going to the internet cafe. You would go with like a USB stick and upload your pics. There was no editing back then. You would just upload them like the way they were to Facebook, you know. There was no editing and filter and make the sky more blue. It was just this is how it is, you know. And
Yes.
yeah, it was in a way it was more authentic, but yeah, good memories. And of course, like you know, all those travel guides. Now you have everything online. Back then, we would have, you know, you remember the Lonely Planet? It was
Yes,
like a
yes.
Bible. It was like a book that was like that thick, and you would like travel it around. And every time you changed the country, you had to get a new book and like get rid of the old one. And it's different.
I love
It's just
that.
12, 14 years ago. It was like it was a different life. And now
Yeah.
you have everything on
Yeah.
your phone.
You know what? It's good to reminisce on those days though, because there's many of us who are above a certain age who still remember those days, Sabrina. I remember when before Google Maps, I remember like my dad would like print out, there's this website called MapQuest, and he would literally print out, we had to look it up, we had to print it, and then we had to go and like go, you know, direction, okay, turn left here, okay, turn right there, like from the printout, because we couldn't do it in real time. Or he would like literally take out like an atlas, and then we'd literally like map, okay, you're gonna go on this highway and this highway and then this highway, and it's like you had to like try and drive and hold the map at the same time you were driving by yourself. Like, I remember those days.
Yeah. But then he was, you know, because I wanted to save money. I was like drawing them. I was in the internet cafe looking on the screen at the map and then drawing it with a pencil because I don't want to pay another dollar for the print, you know. And then in the next country I arrived, you know, you go with your paper and you're like.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh,
uh,
that is so funny. I see somebody in the chat. She's like, yep, same for my dad. And we had an atlas in the car. That is so funny. And I saw
Yeah.
there was another question. There was a question in the chat, Sabrina. I saw someone by the name of Call Me Daddy has asked, have you ever been to Bandung, West Java?
No, unfortunately not. Call Me Daddy's an interesting name, by the way. Is that one of
I
your
know. I
followers?
was like, very
Or one of
interesting
mine?
handle, but I'll give them their credit. They asked a good question.
No, unfortunately, I have not. I have not. I'll add it to my list. I'm
Yes,
too long
yes.
stuck in Bali. I really can't wait. Next month, the first time in 2.5 years, I'm getting on an airplane. I'm very excited.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, can you tell us where you're going, or is it top secret?
No, it's not top secret. I'm actually going to see my parents because honestly, it's really time. Like I haven't seen my dad in almost 4 years and my mom in about 3 years, and now finally, since they dropped all the quarantine and all the requirements, it's getting easier. It's just like Bali, like literally just opened 2 weeks ago, and there's only a bunch of airlines. I'm just waiting for more airlines to fly directly from Bali to Germany, or not directly, but more airlines. Right now, I think it's only Singapore Airlines, which is very expensive. So I'm waiting for a few more, and then in mid-April, I'm going to see my parents. I'm going for 2 weeks to Germany, and then maybe I'll add another trip. Actually, Aline called me the other day and told me she's in Albania. She asked me if I drop by, so I might do that too. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll take a trip to Thailand. I just need to be somewhere else. Like as beautiful as Bali is, like after like 2.5 years on the island, you want to see something else. Like I want to be in a city. I want to be on a rooftop bar and like stuff like this that we don't have too much here in Bali. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I totally feel that. You know, I feel like if you're a person who likes to travel, then being in the same place for months and months and months, or maybe even years on end,
Years, yeah.
can get really frustrated. Like you just want to go to new places, see new people. You just want to like just being on a plane is fun, you know?
It's the longest I've been stuck in one place. I had before, the priority pass. I would always fly, sit in the lounge, and then suddenly, like, it was just done. It was
Yes.
like, yeah, the long 2 years not on a plane. That's the longest in more than, I don't know, since I was a teenager, I think. So I really miss
Yeah.
that feeling of like rushing to the airport and yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Well, soon come, soon come. We're very
Yeah.
happy that you get to go visit your parents soon. We're happy that you get to get back on a plane and check out some new countries, or just even going back to places that you've already been that you really love. And I think that's a good chance for us to pivot and for me to ask you. You know, you have this incredible blog. You've got all these different social media platforms. What's coming up next for you? You know, for all of us as your friends, as your fans, as your followers. What new partnerships, what new videos, what new blogs, what's going to be coming out soon that we should get excited about and keep an eye out for?
Hmm. If only I would know. I mean, obviously, with everything opening up, I hope I get to travel again, and hopefully also to new places. There are still countries I haven't been. I'm like dying to go to places like Papua New Guinea is one. I mentioned before I want to go to more places in Africa, and yeah, like also obviously to my parents. So I hope I get to travel a bit, explore new places. So we'll also have time to create new content. And other than that, also I try like not aside from blogging, I focus on other things. I'm learning about crypto. I'm learning about NFT, and yeah, maybe I start also writing about that stuff. I'm not sure yet. Um, so we will see. At this point, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely I will come up with new content soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're all very excited for that day, and we're following you avidly. So, for people who are like watching this on YouTube, or for people who aren't as familiar, tell us all of your handles, your website address. Tell us all the things so that everybody can know exactly where to find you.
Yeah, it's just one way ticket, including the dress. On Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and I'm also on Pinterest, but the one is the number one. But yeah, mostly just drop me a message on Instagram, and I think you will tag me too. Just one way ticket. My blog is also just onewayticket.com, and yeah, and like I said before, I have next week the blogging workshop at the Nas Academy. So if you want to learn about blogging or how to monetize blogs, just come by. It's free, by the way, and yeah, it's also live, so it would be nice. And Nicole is there too. Would be nice to see you there too.
Woo! Yes, yes. Well, we hope that everybody watching this Instagram live show right now, and maybe you're watching the rerun on YouTube, we hope you all come out and watch and participate in Sabrina's amazing course at Nas Academy. And it's honestly, there's so many resources. You dropped so many gems in there, and I think that's really important for people to tap into all of your wisdom and your knowledge. And I think like one of the other questions I wanted to ask you, you shared that like your handles, your blogs, everything is all just one way ticket. How did you come up with that name? You built this like powerhouse brand around this name, just one way ticket. How did you come up with that?
I mean, my first idea was one-way ticket, which was obviously taken. Already in 2012, it was taken. And because that was just how I did travel. So when I started the blog, I had already 2 years travel behind me. And when I look back, this is exactly how I traveled. I started traveling, I booked a one-way ticket to Hong Kong. This is, by the way, BBC, they wrote this article about me. And I think it was also like how a one-way ticket to Hong Kong leads to, I forgot the exact title, but it was something like this. And this is how I started. It was always like, hey, I'm going with the flow. Not that I recommend it, because apparently you cannot fly on one-way tickets. You always need that on-way ticket. But back then it wasn't as strict. I must say that. So that was like my start. And when I traveled, I never really knew where I'm going to go next. I was hanging out in Asia. Then I thought, okay, let's try Australia. Australia was too expensive. I went back to Asia. Then I was like, nah, let's try something new. I would just look for flights, whatever is the cheapest. And I remember one thing, I was in Japan, and I was like, I'm done with Asia. I don't want to eat rice anymore. I want something new. And I was basically just looking for the cheapest flight to like Latin America. And that was at that point Chile. I didn't even know what Chile is. I had to look it up on a map, and I didn't even know that it's cold in Chile. So I was just like excited. I'm going to a new country called Chile. And the good thing is, I mean, it was like in the southern tip of South America. So from Chile, I would travel all the way. Chile would come then Peru, Colombia, no, Ecuador first, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala. So I would go all this overland all the way up to Mexico. And like I said, it was always one-way ticket. I would just move forward. So when I started the blog, I knew it has to be to do something with one-way ticket. And this is how the name came up. Yeah.
That is amazing, Sabrina. And I think we all have so much that we can take away from that. You know, it's like not everything has to be so structured. Not everything has to be so planned. You can literally just buy a one-way ticket to a place. Make sure you have a visa, make sure you can get in, and then just figure it out. You know, okay, today you want to go to Oman, cool. Tomorrow you want to go to Iran, cool. Tomorrow you want to go hop over to Saudi, cool. Like, just go. Like, just go and try to visit these places if you can. You know, I think that's really, really cool, especially in this day and age where, you know, because of work and because of how our capitalist society works, it's like, it's so often that we want to have a plan for everything. You know, I want to plan this, I want to plan that, and then I go here, and then I go there. But sometimes just going with the flow, just a one-way ticket, sometimes that's just the way we need to go with life.
Especially when you travel, like when you decide, oh, I'm going to backpack for like 6 months. Do not plan it all out. Like I thought back then, I'm going to go to Australia and do 6 months to work and travel. I was 6 weeks there, and then I was on a plane back to Asia. Like, it never works that way. Or in other places where I only planned, like, I don't know, a week in Japan. And then I loved it. And I went back to Japan and spent another month there. So you never know what you might end up, like, loving or hating. Well, I don't want to say hate. I didn't hate Australia. It was just very expensive. And also, yet, it's not even about the destination. It's also about the people. Sometimes you just meet great people, and you're like, I don't want to go. I just want to hang out longer here and see what happens. And, yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's so cool, Sabrina. Honestly, like your entire travel journey and the way that you approach travel and the way that you've been able to keep it, you know, fun and friendly and dynamic, but still monetize it and make money off of it, have cool brand sponsorships and partnerships. It's truly, truly so inspiring. So I honestly cannot thank you enough for coming on to NIKKI BANZ Live tonight, sharing more about your background, your experience, this incredible travel blog and content that you create, and you know, the fact that you're sharing it with all of us here on the live in your course at Nas Academy. It's just the type of thing that draws me in, that draws everybody in. And honestly, we're just so grateful for you and for Just One Way Tickets. So thank you.
Oh, thank you too. Thank you too. I'm coming to South Africa too and visit you in Cape Town.
Excellent. I can't wait. I can't wait. Is there, Sabrina, is there any final words, any last, things that you want to share or that you want to say on our interview here today for NIKKI BANZ Live?
So just thanks to everyone who tuned in, who listened for a bit, and thanks to anyone who attended my workshop on the Nas Academy, and thanks to you, of course, for like inviting me to the podcast. That's very very nice and very kind of you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I'm so glad that we met. I'm so honored to be working with you on your course. I can't wait for the next one next week. You were so generous. You rescheduled it because I'm here in Dubai for the Nas Summit. You were so generous to move it to next
Because
week.
I wanted you in my course. I wanted you as my coach. I was like, I don't want anyone else. You know everything.
I know. I wanted to be there too. I was like, I hope this is okay. Amazing. Well, Sabrina, thank you so much for coming on to NIKKI BANZ Live. I will tell Nasir and Aline that you say hello, and I'm glad that we're all together in this network. And it's honestly just been so much fun having you on here on the show. I'll upload this to YouTube so we can watch it again forever and ever.
Okay, thank you so much. And you enjoy Dubai.
Thank you.
Enjoy the
Thank you so much.
I'm so jealous. I wish I could have come. I'm sure you guys have a blast there. It looks amazing. I see all the Insta stories of you, of Nas, of like I have some other friends who are there. Looks amazing.
Yes. We'll keep sharing. Maybe we'll Photoshop you in. You'll be right here.
Yeah.
You're with us in spirit.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Everybody, this is Sabrina at Just One Way Ticket. This is Tuesday, NIKKI BANZ Live. Thank you to all who tuned in, and we'll catch you next Tuesday for the next episode. Thank you, Sabrina. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.